There we go. Sorry, you should be able to hear me now. All right, guys, thanks for joining. This is Attorney Simone with Girl, Is That Legal? Come on in and let us know where you are joining us and watching from. And always remember, you can go to my website, which is simoneredwine.com, for a consultation. I do free consultations if you are injured anywhere in the United States. My focus is on serious injuries, whether it was an Uber, an 18-wheeler, and those are across America. I actually create legal teams across the US to help and work with those cases. Secondly, you can also contact me if you would like a consultation for a non-injury matter, whether it's an eviction, whether it's a divorce. I also do background checks. You go to simoneredwine.com and the non-injury consultations start at $200 for 30 minutes. Hey, good morning, Eva. She is watching from St. Louis. All right, let's get on with this. All right. So real quick, y'all, as y'all are coming on in, let me know where you're watching from. Also hit that subscribe. I really appreciate those of you guys who have been sharing it as well. The subscriber count continues to increase. Next up will be the 80,000 subscriber goal. So we are getting close there. Let me tell you a quick little story time. I got a quick little story time while people are coming in. Let me tell you something. We're gonna call this the $4 million mistake. Okay, the $4 million mistake. So when I do my injury cases, again, I'm licensed in Texas. I'm barred in New York and New Jersey. Passed the bar first time for each of those. I went to school on the East Coast, Cornell, although I'm from New York. Although I'm from Oak Cliff, which is Dallas. So I had this client. I loved him. I did various like business related stuff for him. And then unfortunately he was injured. He was hit by an 18-wheeler. So he was hit by an 18-wheeler in a really rural town. And the way that I work as an injury lawyer is you're going to see there's a lot of lawyers out there who are not humble. They don't have humility and they want to be all over the TV. They want to be on the news talking about, yeah, this is my client and we got hit by Walmart and da-da-da-da, right? For me, what I like to do is I create legal teams. I work with co-counsel that are on the ground in that small podunk town. Why? Because, and this was an older Black man, I want my co-counsel to be someone who knows the judges, where their daddy and the judge plays golf together. Like I want that inside track because when you do that, you get the benefit of the doubt. So we're in this hick town. I won't say which one. We're in this hick town. Case is going well. The client was a high earner and was hit by this 18-wheeler. We've really worked up the damages. By worked up the damages, that means the client was going to the doctors, being treated. The doctors were creating the reports. We even got something that's called a life planner. Jesus Christ, we got the life planner, right? The life planner says, as a result of this accident, this is how much money protracted out until retirement that this client is going to lose as far as lost income. $5 million, y'all. $5 million. The expert that we hired said was all set up for lost future income based on the injuries that he was going to be sustained for the rest of his life. So we're getting ready for mediation. We put in our demand. Of course, we're going to the top. We want top dollar. How I prefer to do it is I don't take every injury case. I prefer to have a few really, really good multi-million-dollar cases and work the hell out of those annually. We get ready for mediation, y'all. Please tell me why opposing counsel pulls out a document showing that, unbeknownst to us, my client about a month prior pled guilty to misdemeanor theft. Pled guilty to misdemeanor theft. I said, wait, what? Wait, you didn't say anything about this, Mr. So-and-so. And he was like, oh, I mean, I didn't think it was really nothing. It was just a misdemeanor. What did the man do? Y'all, this man stole a TV out of Walmart. He stole a TV out of Walmart. He stole a TV. No, correction. It wasn't a TV. That would have been better. He stole a grill, like a barbecue grill. He stole a barbecue grill out of Walmart. Now, the grill was like $300. So it was a $300 grill. But in the state that this case was in, if you have been accused and found guilty of a crime of moral turpitude, which any kind of theft, even misdemeanor theft is, it can be presented to the jury. Why? Because the insurance companies then use that to say, this is a thief, which makes them a liar. They are probably lying about how injured they are. Let's not give them any money. Long story short, that $300 grill cost $4 million. $4 million, y'all. That's why I ain't got no pants on. I was up all night, upset. Oh, I was frustrated. We've been going back and forth, back and forth. But what happens is when you do something like that. So here's the stupidest part. When he got that misdemeanor case, if he had just told us, hey, I got this stupid case, what we would have, there's a few things we could have done. We could have postponed it, like him handling the misdemeanor until after we finished up the $5 million mediation. We could have postponed it, right? Because if it's not a conviction, it would not count for mediation. Oh, and on the other side, we were good to go because the driver on the other side appeared to be inebriated. He was not wearing his glasses. We had like all these facts. $4 million, because it said that he was going to be losing $5 million in lost income. We still were able to get him about $1 million. So we still got him $1 million. When I tell you the way his wife, and I told it on him. Yes, I do. Because the truth of the matter is, when I have my black male older clients, we always know the wife is who's going to make sure they get to their doctor's appointments, going to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to. So the wife caught up there talking about, well, why is it this amount? Y'all said X, Y, Z. I said, we sure did. Did he tell you that he stole that barbecue grill at the Walmart for $300? And he pled to it because it was just a misdemeanor. So he pled to it and got like time served or whatever. Didn't tell nobody. $4 million. I told her, I said, ma'am, if you want to fight him, I'd understand, because I do too. That's between y'all. Y'all, what would you do if your spouse, and I mean, this man is seriously injured to where she has to do a lot more around the house because he can't do it due to his injuries, herniated disc, all of that. What would you do if your spouse stole a grill, a $400 grill that cost y'all $4 million from your injury settlement? I'm just saying, you can't make this shit up. I love my job. I love what I do. Yeah, he forgot to tell the wife, oh, she gonna beat him up and down the street. As she should. I told her, take your wig off. If you want to take your wig off and whoop his tail, hand it to me. I will hold it for you so you can get him real good. Get him good. Anyway, that's the intro. Y'all, I just had to vent. I had to get that off my chest. Again, I'm Attorney Simone. If you are injured anywhere in the nation, I would love to help you. We'll do free consultations for injury cases. Just give me a call at 855-4-SIMONE, SYMONE. It's not just me. It's myself. It's my legal team. We would be happy to give you that free consultation and look into your matter. All right. First up, with these viral cases. I hope y'all let me know in the chat. Do y'all like these lunchtime lives? The reason I wanted to do that is because when I'm in the office, I like to have some noise, something going on behind me when I'm working. And so I thought it might be easier if we do these around 11 Central. So Monday through Thursday, y'all, check me out, 11 Central. We are doing these hot topic legal breakdowns. At 11 a.m. Central, Monday through Thursday. I'm still going to have other content that release miscellaneous times, but I really appreciate that. Y'all have given comments and said, if you tell us when you're going to be on, then it would increase your viewership. So now you know, hit that subscribe and also hit the notification. All right, so we've got, let me share this one. Y'all, this is devastating. This was so disgusting. There you go. All right. So in Dallas, here we go. Actually, I'll just have that, switch that back over. So in Dallas, this poor woman is suffering from cancer and kidney disease, and she had Medicare and SSI benefits. Well, these benefits were stopped after the government said that they are questioning her immigration status, despite the fact that she was born and raised in the United States. Listen to this foolishness. I'm so glad Fox 4 News in Dallas took this on to give her.
Kidney disease took Ramona Rakestraw to dialysis at age 28, then a transplant. 30 years later, back on dialysis and a cancer diagnosis in 24. All that time, she's received SSI, Supplemental Security Income from Social Security. Shocked when it stopped last October.
And so when you called them, they told you what?
They told me my immigrant status was being questioned. And so I said, well, I'm not an immigrant.
But there are circumstances that can trigger flags about citizenship status. So I ask.
Have you ever lived out of the country?
No.
Have you been out of the country for 30 days or longer?
No.
I went further.
Have you been out of Dallas County?
No.
Ever in life?
Never.
Rakestraw says she took her ID and her birth certificate, born in Parkland Hospital, 1966, to her Social Security office. Then receiving this letter from the Social Security Administration.
Saying we cannot give you your benefits.
We cannot pay you benefits because you are not lawfully present in the U.S.
That's my income, my whole income.
Now, you do have the right to appeal.
Yes. And I have written out the forms and everything, and I am appealing.
If you receive notice of benefit denial or suspension, you have 60 days to request an appeal. You must have an in-person meeting and update your status to prove citizenship. Your case will be reviewed by a different person than the one who made the denial decision.
And you hope that's approved?
Yes.
What happens if not?
I don't know. Let's just take it a day at a time.
So what? Well, we really don't know yet because Social Security tells me due to privacy concerns, they cannot respond to my inquiry. It could be a procedural error, a mismatch of data. The Institute for Responsive Government says it could also be incomplete or outdated citizenship data in Social Security records. Social Security did indicate, though, they would contact Ramona Rakestraw, and she was heading back to Social Security after our interview today. We'll keep you posted.
All right, Sean, we know you will. Thank you.
All right.
I am shocked.
So, y'all, this just goes to show how utterly incompetent our government is right now. Just utterly. Remember, Doge was supposed to help save all this money. This is what happens due to all the cutbacks and the resignations and letting go of people in the workforce. This is the incompetence that you get. Now, if someone ever suffers this, hopefully this does not happen to anyone else. And I think what was so shocking to everyone is she's clearly a Black woman. She clearly, so, with ICE, they like to say, oh, well, you have an accent. That's why I'm stopping you. She has no accent. And this woman never even left Dallas County. But if this ever happens to you, the type of lawyer that you're going to want is a Social Security disability lawyer. And with those lawyers, how they work is that when you get these type of denials, then they can come on, they do it on a contingency fee basis. They get a portion of what they recover for you. However, I believe the law also has rules within the law where they can also collect an attorney's fee. But the catch is you can't, most SSI lawyers won't take your case until you have first been denied. So once you get denied, which now she was on it for, it looks like since she was 28. So probably for 30 some years, she's been on it. This is her first denial. So now she actually could get a contingency fee SSI attorney. I'm going to try to reach out to her to see if she needs one. I have a referral. So yeah, that's utterly ridiculous. But I wanted to make sure you guys knew that in case it happens to any of your loved ones. In addition, whoever the agent is assigned to her case that rejected her, she needs to file a complaint against that person. Just file an SSI complaint that this person is incompetent. Because I don't care if that person even says, oh, well, someone above me. All right, well, it's above you. Okay, well, everybody in this line, you're not critically thinking. So you need to go home. You need to be on the performance improvement plan. And all y'all need to get out of here. This is ridiculous. Because the thing of it, y'all, this is one of the ways in which the government is simply trying to cut back on not having to pay out as much Social Security. Because when you do things like this to the poorest of the poor, they don't know how to get an attorney, and they sure as hell cannot afford one if it's going to be hourly. So these are the kinds of things where you see this stuff in my career. I see this stuff like this happen to poor people all the time. And when I tell these stories to middle class and even sometimes wealthy people, they say, oh, that would never happen. All she'd have to do is show her birth certificate. Bitch, what did I tell you? Some of the craziest stuff you'll see in the law happens to the poor of the poor because they know no one is going to believe them when they say it, and they won't have the resources to do anything about it. So thanks to Sean Robb on Fox 4 News for covering that. Also, y'all, let's think about this. This woman is having all this trouble collecting her Social Security that she's had since 28 because she doesn't have a passport. How you think it's going to work out for these people who need passports to vote, who need specific IDs to vote? In the same way that we've got these incompetent people talking about, no, you can't get your benefits because you haven't proven your citizenship. Because if she had a passport, it would probably be a lot easier. Because of course, to get the passport, you have to show the driver's license, et cetera, et cetera. So just watch out how much more difficult it is now going to be because of the law that the Republicans have passed in the House that is now requiring you to have a passport, and that that the name that you're voting with match the name on your birth certificate. So if you've been married, you have to then go and switch your birth certificate, la-di-da-di-da. Whole bunch of foolishness. All right, next up. We're going to make this one quick. Next up. All right, Master P. Y'all, Master P up here lying. Let's see if we can hear it. Let me do a refresh. I'm going to pull it down and pull it back out. I said it doesn't have the sound. Give me one quick second. We're going to share this one again. Master P is up. Y'all are going to, wait till y'all see this man, y'all. And here we go.
Chase on the commercial. So I'm like, sometimes you
got to start this over.
I turned down $10 million for the Super Bowl. Somebody wanted me to do a Super Bowl commercial. I ain't gonna say no name. It's a insurance company, and it's big, and it's like, we want you to be a rapper. We want you to rap in a commercial. I'm like, I'm not rapping in the commercial. Like, Kevin Hart is not doing stand-up comedian for Chase on the commercial. So I'm like, sometimes you got to turn down, all money ain't good money. So to be able to turn that down, I was like, you know what, God, even though I can rap if I wanted to, that's cool. But I don't want people to just stereotype me that I just need to be rapping on everything that you see me on. And I want kids to know that don't do no deals when you're desperate, and don't do stuff that's gonna go against your integrity. I want to let y'all know, nobody know this.
So Master P is claiming that he turned down $10 million to be in a Super Bowl commercial rapping. Master P is up here lying, y'all. He up here lying again. Master P is a lie. He is up here lying. What? So you mean to tell me, sir, you are a rapper who has turned down $10 million to rap? To rap. I see why your kids don't talk to you. You are stupid. Y'all done sent Romeo down there to ICDC and do them commercials. He needed to go to ICDC. Y'all, that was one of those for-profit colleges. Hold on. I want you to hear him one more time. Lying. Y'all let me know. Do y'all think he lying? Or you think someone really came, like a company really came to him for the $10 million and that he turned it down?
I turned down $10 million for the Super Bowl. Somebody wanted me to do a Super Bowl commercial. I ain't gonna say no name. It's a
nobody's deleting your
insurance company, and it's big, and it's like, we want you to be a rapper. We want you to rap in a commercial. I'm like, I'm not rapping in the commercial. Like, Kevin Hart is not doing stand-up comedian for Chase on the commercial. So I'm like, sometimes
yes, he is. When they hire Kevin Hart to be in a commercial, they hire him to be funny. When they hire rappers to be in commercials, they generally hire them to perform music. Idiot. Furthermore, you're like, I'm not going to rap. Well, what are you going to do, sir? Juggle? You going to juggle? Are you going to mime? Are you going to be in the ministry of Christ, the church mimes? Is that what you're going to do? A church ministry? Like, what else would people want you to do? This is what happens when you have so much arrogance and narcissism that you like, he really feels like people want to hear him talk. Nobody wants to hear you talk. Do you remember you used to be rich and now you're poor? Sir, you were very, very rich. You were rich for like 10 seconds. Okay. And then you lost your money doing dumb-ish. You need to go get that $10 million because you still owe your ex-wife a whole bunch of money from when you done tricked off on that other money. No, lies, lies, lies. This man is lying. Tell me in the chat, do y'all think, no, he said it was an insurance company. Well, there's not that many, right, that do Super Bowl commercials. So State Farm, this, that, and the third. Sir, if you said no, if I was your child, I would give you the silent treatment for quite a month of Sundays because I know good and well he is not independently wealthy. I don't even know how he makes his money anymore. And I was at the Versus, okay? I was at the Versus. That was Cash Money versus No Limit. And by the way, he was huffing and puffing. I don't think he even has health insurance. So if this man ain't got no health insurance, he definitely is not independently wealthy. You needed that 10 million, sir, because you don't even have Obamacare. You said, oh, I thought he was going to die right there on the stage. I thought he was going to die. All right. Next up. Next up is Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd Mayweather's ex-girlfriend, oh, thank you. His ex-girlfriend, who goes by Miss Jackson, her name is Chantel Jackson. Today, she wished him a very happy birthday. She says, help me wish my ex a very happy birthday. She's a very beautiful girl. She actually looks a lot like Daphne Joy, but Daphne Joy is Filipino. Miss Jackson is the same woman that later went, so she was with Floyd for a number of years, like, I don't know, maybe 5 or so. And then she was with Nelly. She like immediately went to Nelly and was with Nelly all the way up to about a year before he got back with Ashanti. So she didn't get a ring from Nelly. Floyd, though, claims that he was engaged to her. And this is Floyd's daughter saying, ooh, does this mean you're going to be my date at the fight? And she's like, yeah, that's probably because at this point, Miss Jackson just needs to pick somebody. Okay. She don't like paying her bills, and girl, me either. And apparently she, unlike me, is actually able to get these men to pay her bills. You see me on here on the internet with no pants on because I got to pay my own utility bills because I got clients out there stealing grills from Walmart, making $4 million mistake. If you don't know what I'm talking about, roll it back to the beginning. It had a little story time in the intro. But here we go. We're going to hear, this is so you can hear sweet little Floyd.
Yeah, you got to flex me. Money all day.
Flex, let me see.
I ain't got to flex.
Let me see something.
I ain't got to flex.
Make it
I ain't got to flex. I ain't got to flex. You know what it is? I ain't got to flex. Yeah. You ain't got to flex me. Money all day.
He doesn't have to flex. Yeah. Okay. So that was cute. But we're all like perplexed. I'm in confusion, baby. Because this was a post that my girl, Lawyer Bay, Attorney Thelma, Judge Thelma, actually, she posted, shedding a little light on this. Let me just play this little clip for you.
Filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles County Superior Court on behalf of Chantel Jackson against Floyd Mayweather Jr.
There was a point in my relationship with Floyd that I thought we would be together forever.
Girl, if you don't get a job. Oh!
I loved him so much, and I made sure I took care of.
Hold on, if you're sitting at your desk, I want you to practice crying like that. You might be able to get the rest of the day off early. Go. Was that a sneeze? We're gonna let it keep going, but try that with your boss. If somebody could try that with your boss in the chat and let me know how that goes. Just be mid-conversation, just be talking about something serious in the meeting, and then just go. Here we go. Y'all let me know if she seems believable. So the claim is that Chantel Jackson, this is like in 2014, sued her boyfriend, Floyd, accusing him of assault, battery, defamation, false imprisonment, harassment, and invasion of privacy. But today, he's her birthday boy. Do you know what that means, y'all? It means the economy sucks. Do not believe Trump in that State of the Union yesterday where he was like, inflation's down, eggs are down, gas is down. No, it's not, because beautiful girls like Miss Jackson are running back to illiterate men who used to knock them across the room just because she needs a little assistance paying her Wi-Fi bill. It's rough out here. I'm going to let her finish, though. I'm going to let her finish.
The best way I knew how. I tried my best to make our relationship work by compromising and going to relationship counseling. But I finally realized there was no hope for our relationship and I could not continue.
She didn't even practice this speech.
I love Floyd deeply, but he continued to disappoint and intentionally hurt me. I have been embarrassed and humiliated more than I could ever imagine by Floyd, who I once called my best friend and fiance. I have tried everything I could and I have given Floyd every opportunity to do the same, to do the right thing. Unfortunately, he has refused every opportunity to make things right. And it is with a heavy heart that I finally realized that the only way to set the record straight.
It is with a heavy heart. Gloria wrote that for her. She don't say things like, it is with a heavy heart that you don't do anything with a heavy heart, and you probably don't know what that means. Let's continue.
And to achieve justice for what he has done to me is through the filing of this lawsuit.
Lex, let me see.
Okay. Cheryl Lee said, Gloria needs to include in her fees an acting coach to teach these girls how to properly cry on cue. She actually does. It's not an acting coach, but she does include a media coach. It is, yes, that is one. It says, today's economics, people can't pay for a passport. That's right. They can't pay for a passport. So I understand why Chantel is going back. But Chantel, you look crazy because you also could secretly go back with him and not make these public posts that make you look like a nincompoop. So let me give you just a quick summary of the lawsuit, okay? So Gloria Allred, if you're not familiar, she is historically an attorney that is known for helping women and pursuing gender-based claims on behalf of women. That's why she's like, I think she's 3 years older than Satan. I mean, like, she's the age of death. She's been out here for a minute. Like, she's rocking and rolling, okay? She looks great for her age, but she's not a spring chicken, but boy, she still gets those cases. Well, she sued Floyd Mayweather Jr. in September of 24 on behalf of his former fiance here, Chantel Jackson, who is also Nelly's ex-girlfriend. Now, Nelly never proposed to her. That was part of her problem after like 6 or 7 years. So she gave these two men, Floyd and Nelly, literally her best years, but still looks gorgeous. Now, she claimed that there was a pattern of physical and emotional abuse, invasion of privacy, and defamation. Now, the physical abuse part, y'all, Floyd was known for knocking his women upside their head. And he actually served 90 days in jail for busting up the head of his one of his baby moms, Josie, who is now deceased. So she very well is telling the truth that man done knocked her up and down in between a washer and dryer or so. That happened, but it still means she's stupid for posting the post that she made today. Well, okay, my mama told me I had to stop calling people stupid. The question on the floor is, would you make this kind of public post after you sued someone like this? Let me continue with the allegations. So the lawsuit was filed in LA Superior Court following a series of incidents. Most notably, Mayweather posted a personal medical record of hers on social media, y'all. That is the invasion of privacy. So basically, after their breakup, Mayweather posted a sonogram on Facebook and Instagram, accusing her of terminating a pregnancy with twins, and he called her a baby unaliver. Now, he's got a plethora of children. I think he's got 5 or 6. And generally, everybody that gets pregnant by his babies wants to keep them because they too have high light bills, Wi-Fi bills, etc. So Floyd Mayweather has never married any of these women, but he gets them pregnant and apparently takes care of them. Now, the lawsuit also alleged that during their 7-year, goddamn girl, 7 years with Floyd, 6 with Nelly. Y'all fact check me the number of years with Nelly because I don't care about Nelly enough to Google him. So 7 years with him, that Mayweather committed battery and assault, including choking her and twisting her arm. I believe it. Y'all, it's always them little bitty men. Them little bitty men, they like to tussle. And that's why you gotta knock them out. You gotta hit them all the way down to the ground, stomp them out, and then you run or kill them. She also alleged threats with a gun. Jackson alleged that in April of 2013, Mayweather pointed a pow at her foot and asked which toe should he shoot. I believe that. False imprisonment and theft. The suit claimed that Mayweather kept Jackson as a, quote, prisoner in his home, only allowing her to leave with his staff, and stole over $1 million worth of her jewelry and personal items when she left. No, that means you didn't take them with you. It's probably jewelry that he gave her, and then he was a white man giver, not an Indian giver, a white man giver. Because white men are the one, they give you something, like they make an agreement with land with the Native Americans, and then they take the shit back. So not an Indian giver. He was a white man giver in that gave her jewelry, and then when they broke up, he took back his $1 million of jewelry. And then, quote, he also made threats to release nude photos. Jackson alleged Mayweather threatened to release nude photos of her after she posted a photo of herself with rapper Nelly. So they say she moved on to Nelly like real quick. Like there was like no break. And at the time of the lawsuit, Allred claimed that these actions were all retaliation for Jackson's refusal to reconcile with Mayweather. Jackson sought unspecified damages for the alleged abuse and defamation. So wait a minute. So the defamation would need to be the calling her a baby unaliver. Okay. Yeah, it would need to be, because the other stuff, he didn't say anything. He called her a baby unaliver. Yeah. So then that must mean she's saying she didn't, in fact, get rid of the babies. Maybe it was a miscarriage or whatever. We know Floyd can't read, so he don't know. He probably didn't know what it said on that darn sonogram. He probably just like looking at the pictures. Napoleon syndrome. It says she's not Gloria Allred is not a day over 83. Siobhan said, right? The jewelry gave no excuses. But if a man makes a living getting beat upside the head, wouldn't you think he would do it to you? Well, Sea Breeze, somebody needs to give this person a common sense award. I would agree. Thank you. Cheryl says she was with Floyd Mayweather Jr. for approximately 8 years, from around 06 to 14. They were engaged, but never married. And then she went over to Nelly, and Nelly and Mayweather ran in the same circles. And I think when Miss Jackson left Floyd, he then replaced her with Daphne Joy, which is 50 Cent's baby mama. So Daphne Joy went Floyd, then to 50 Cent, and then to Diddy. Boy, talk about poor pussy management. All right, it says, ain't enough money in the world to run back to abuse, especially all these years later. She is desperate for a rich man. Hit that subscribe, y'all. It said, this is per ChatGPT. She may have miscarried. That's what I thought. She may have miscarried, but had a D and C. And he just misunderstood the procedure. Oh, thank you, Christy. I think that's a great point. Yeah, because if for defamation, one of the major defenses is that it's untrue. So that actually would make perfect sense. And we know he can't read, so he wouldn't know what he's looking at. DNC, and you see how DNC, there's no vowel in there. There's not even anything for him to sound out. He wouldn't have a clue. I think that's what it is. And they are saying that Floyd is now broke. That is true. I don't know necessarily that he's broke, but I do know he's got a lot of lawsuits. And it does appear, though, that whoever was managing his money mismanaged it. But here's my question. I want you to respond in the chat below. Do y'all think, so we now know that she is back, at least cool and friends with Floyd. Floyd's slow daughter, Yaya, asked Shantae, oh, does this mean you'll be my date to the fight? And of course, Shantae wants to be at the fight. Chantel, I don't blame her, girl. Can I go with you? I know that answer's fuck no. But I think that probably means Floyd paid her off. What y'all think? Because I'm not going to be friends with you if you whoop my tail and you didn't give me no money. I think he paid her back then. I'm talking about back then when this lawsuit was pending. He likely paid her. They likely had a confidential settlement that was orchestrated by Gloria Allred that was used to keep it out of the press, especially because although he is a boxer and, they're basically animals, I do think that sponsors and so forth, they don't want to encourage and support a guy who's running around whooping women, and not just whooping women, but publicly posting their sonograms, et cetera, et cetera. I think Floyd paid her. What y'all think? And then how much do you think he paid her to keep quiet? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Don't forget, you can call my office at 855-4-SIMONE if you're seriously injured anywhere in the nation. Free consultation. Just give us a call. Let us know it's an injury case. Yep, I think he paid her too to keep quiet. All right. So you guys may have known I was in Barbados last week, or like the week before last, having a great time at Paradise Point, Barbados. If you ever go to Barbados, you guys got to check it out. Oh, I can't play the music. Yeah, it was Beyonce. I just give you a little sample. But I had a really good time with my little nieces playing around. They think I'm ridiculous. They have these thick little accents, and I'm always doing extra. But this is my plug for Paradise Point, Barbados. It was walking distance to the beach, walking distance to other hotels, actually walking distance to Sandals, and I got to go to the fish fry. I met a cutie as well. I just had a good old time. It was a good old time. All right, so next up, Diddy. Dum dum Diddy. So the time has come, and we knew it was here. Diddy recently settled a lawsuit over $53,000 in unpaid legal fees for his, as Mims calls him, my friend Mims on Make It Make Sense calls him, his slow son, Christian. This is one of the lawsuits where Christian was being sued and accused of SA. Now, Diddy and his son, Christian, have been battling everybody, including one of their own law firms. But according to new court documents, the firm and Diddy recently settled the beef. Now, here's the deal. Court papers obtained by TMZ show that the law firm of Summa LLP claimed that the father-son rappers failed to pay multiple invoices for over 100 attorney hours and 90 paralegal hours for work since March of 2025. March of 2025. That's right around when the second indictment against Diddy happened, and his trial started in May of 2025. So more than likely, he was trying to maintain as much assets, as much cash as possible so that he could use that for his legal team. Because as you may recall, he continued to add attorneys to his legal team up to a week before the trial started. I mean, he easily paid $20 million for his legal defense there. It says Summa said Diddy and King owed at least $53,000 in legal fees, and at least some of those fees were connected to King's SA suit that was brought by Grace O'Marca. Remember, Grace alleged that she was working as a steward on a yacht when she claimed that Diddy chartered a few days before New Year's Eve 2022. According to Grace, she suffered mentally and emotionally after King attempted to force her to perform oral on him despite her protest. She sued King for assault and Diddy for aiding and abetting King. The developments in Grace's case are unclear, but it looks like Summa settled up with Diddy over the bill and dismissed the lawsuit over the unpaid bills. Summa's attorney confirmed the settlement, but didn't give extra details. Y'all, let me tell you how bad this is financially for Diddy. So law firms, we are strongly discouraged from suing our clients. Good lawyers have malpractice insurance, and our malpractice insurance policy literally says they say we prefer that you do not sue your clients when it is simply over funds. Now, it's one thing if you're countersued, but they literally despise it. Some malpractice carriers will not renew your coverage just for suing to get paid unpaid money. I say that to say, and I say that to say the fact that this law firm actually filed a lawsuit against Diddy and the Son, pursued the lawsuit and moved that forward. That means they said, we want our fucking money. We want our money. And it also means Diddy does not have access to their money no more. He better get his mama in her wig to start selling some of that stuff that she fraudulently has been holding in her name for all these years. It says it's eerie how much his son looks like him, like father, like son. Somebody said they both had that slow look. Also, I want to let you guys know, if you ever hire an attorney and you are in a dispute with your attorney over legal fees. And a lot of times you feel like, wait a minute, like my lawyer has blown through this retainer. I don't see what work they've done, or the work they're claiming to have done doesn't match up with the emails that were done. I had to tell them things 4 or 5 times. If that happens to you, don't just pay the bill. What you want to do is you want to immediately dispute the bill, go through the bill, tell them what charges that you feel are overcharged or are not reasonable. For example, sometimes you'll see that both a partner and an associate did the same task. Maybe they both read a motion. Well, you can go back and say, no, I don't want to be charged for the associate because the partner was checking their work. But really what you want to do, pay close attention. In every county, there is something that's called the Attorney Fee Dispute Committee. So it's a committee where they handle disputes between clients and their lawyers. So if you feel like you're overcharged, guess what? You can do this before filing suit. Now, you have to go to them before you file suit. It is absolutely free. And it's basically a mediation where you get to say, hey, my lawyer charged me for something that I don't think he did all this work, or what have you, or he told me a different price, whatever. And then it is mediated by a panel of lawyers, sometimes former judges. And what they try to do is make it so that you guys can come to an agreement without filing suit because of what I told you, which is that our malpractice carriers hate when we have to sue over fees. But it's also to protect and give a free option to our clients out there who feel like they were overcharged. So if you know anyone, every county has them. They are free. The only catch is you cannot use them if you've already filed suit. So you do that first. They're going to try to mediate it, and you're not bound to whatever is determined in the mediation. If you don't like the result of the mediation, then you file suit. I hope that helps. All right. I think we got last but not least. I think we just got one more. Yes, it remind me. We got, this is so stupid. This is a little nasty girl. Y'all look at this little nasty girl right here. Let me show you this real quick. We're going to do this one. Oh, Bonnie. This one, and then we're going to conclude with Kenya. Y'all, oh, Bonnie Blue, the nasty hooker. Not even Mary Magdalene would pray for her. This woman did this marathon where she banged 400 guys unprotected and just found out she's preggers. Ew. Now, I don't know how old she is, but she looks like she's been through it. She also looks like a serial killer. You know who she looked like? She looked like that serial killer who was in a love affair and drove from Florida all the way to Nassau and Houston to see her boyfriend who was married. And she wore a pamper because she didn't want to have to stop to pee because she was trying to get straight to him real quick. That's who she looked. I don't know that lady's name. If somebody in the chat knows, but that was that crazy woman. That's who she looked like. Something ain't right. My mom said, when you look around the eyes, you see all that white like that. They not, she little dingy. It says somebody might need to retake sex ed. Adult content creator Bonnie B is pregnant after having unprotected sex with about 400 men. And she seems genuinely caught off guard by it. It says, watch the video. After being sick and experiencing intense migraines, Bonnie, whose real name is Tia Billinger, takes a pregnancy test, which ends up being positive.
While I'm pregnant, no line if I'm not pregnant. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I wouldn't even say it's been 4 minutes, maybe like, minute and a half. And so that is a pretty, it's like half pink, half white.
I hate her.
Like a drumstick, actually. Guys, yeah, definitely pregnant, like fully pregnant. So I'm gonna have to chat GBT what to do next because I'm actually not quite sure. I don't know.
How does CPS or whatever they call it over there just needs to proactively take the damn child. This lady doesn't have no good sense. She said, but here's the catch. Here's the catch. She went to an ultrasound. She later confirmed it. But all 400 of the guys, she did it to them unprotected. Now, she said prior to this record-setting escapades that she struggled for years with fertility issues. And she actually told people that she could not get pregnant naturally and did believe this. So this is her little miracle baby. She's going to keep this miracle. I guess is what she's saying. It says, and also, she told Us Weekly that the potential for pregnancy was, quote, a problem for another day that she was going to deal with after those 400. But the good news, guys, is she did collect DNA samples from all the participants. Let the daddy search begin. You get a daddy. You are the daddy. You are the daddy. Y'all, I hope he hides, and I hope he hides good. I'm sorry. I would never say this in any other circumstances. But when her child grows up feeling with daddy issues because her dad wasn't active in their life, like I wish her kid and like one of my nieces go to the same daycare, because I would like to tell her, like, maybe not a daycare, maybe when she's like 15, I'd be like, ma'am, it's not your fault. It's not that your dad doesn't love you. It was just that your mother was a whore. She was a whore. And so when your dad was having sex, he just wanted the nut. He didn't want the baby. Your mom made the baby, and that's you. And so don't feel rejected, because it's not about you. Whoever she pooped out of there, okay, whatever came out of that, the jiggle jaggle, nobody wanted but her. So don't take it personally. It's not like, oh, if I would have came out with blue eyes or red hair, my daddy would have wanted me. Nobody wanted you because nobody wanted to be stuck with your stupid ass mama. It does take a village. It does take a village. But also, I'm going to tell you right now, if the daddy, assuming they can find him, if the daddy were to come to my office and say, you know, Attorney Redwine, what do you recommend? I'm going to say, of course, pay your child support, do the calculation, do your child support. But you need to be careful, because I think this lady is nuts. I think she probably has a personality disorder and a plethora of other things. And so you need to be careful. I've seen women that are on the super nutty end of the spectrum where it's dangerous to parent with them, because they will accuse you of abuse. They will accuse you of all these things that you haven't done, therefore ruining your careers, etc. Now, I'm going to assume that if you were one of 400 men, you're not a great catch. Okay. You probably hang out under bridges or tunnels. You may or may not frequent truck stops for hot dogs as part of your well-balanced diet. So I'm not guessing that it's going to be a top of the line type of quality man. But this actually may be a situation where the man just pay your child support. And, you know, if she wants to meet you when she turns 18, because he really is a sperm donor, if you think about it. Thank you, Cheryl said, don't take it personally. 99% of us are not wanted at conception. Yes. Jesus take the will and give her birth control. You would have thought, I just don't understand how your mind can think it's a good idea to have sex with 400 anythings and not be whatever. Yeah. They need to tell her, this woman she should have never made that video, and she should have said it was artificial insemination, because with her already saying she had fertility issues, people would have believed her. I hate stupid people. It says, I hope the dad wants the baby and should take the child to keep the child's identity private. Now, that is a good hope. It is probably unrealistic, but it is a good hope. Can you imagine I can't envision a man being in an orgy with 399 other men and saying, yeah, the lucky winner. I'm the one that gets 18 years of child support plus college, depending on my state. Hell no. Hell no. And I think he's going to be a creep, because you've got to be a creep to participate in that foolishness. You have to. There's no way you can have any sense. So, all right, heading on over. Last but not least, Kenya. Somebody said, next topic, I'm in California. Why is car insurance double their prices? It's because of the accidents, the wildfires, a few different things. Okay, gotcha. All right, so Kenya. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, I did a deep dive with my girl Vanessa from Reality Podcast into this lawsuit, giving you the breakdown. I'm going to add the link to that video below. It was actually really fun. And I'm going to give you a summary of what's going on with Kenya. Then I'm going to play a clip for it. And I'm going to tell y'all the real deal because these articles be getting them wrong. They need to hire me so I can help them fact check or just do these because some of these people just be making shit up. All right. So specifically, it says Kenya Moore was ordered to pay nearly $88,000 in unpaid rent and utilities over her Atlanta hair spa. This is Rumi. It looks like Kenya is dealing with some salon drama. A judge has ordered the reality star's company, More Vision Media, to pay $49,000 by late February and another, I'm sorry, 43. Basically $44K by late February and another $44K payment by late March, totaling $87,000 and change in a dispute over alleged unpaid rent and utilities. In addition, the judge ordered the company to continue paying about $5,500 a month in rent unless the business vacates the property. Weeks after the ruling, the landlord claimed that the first payment wasn't made by the deadline and is now demanding possession of the property. The court has not yet ruled on the request for the property. And if you remember, Kenya Moore Hair Spa was featured in Atlanta in 2025. That was when she was on the show. She had her grand opening where she showed explicit photos of castmate Brittany Eady, and then she was dropped from that season, not permanently, but from that season. And in turn, her salon did not get the promotion and the visibility that she was expecting. She also talked about the difficulty being a celebrity running a salon, in that people would come in there just because they wanted to see her, but not because they wanted a service. So that was also part of her challenge. But stay tuned, y'all. This article isn't like everyone else's, okay? There's a little, we got a little bombshell, a little twist to this one. Now I'm going to click over. Let's see if I can do it. I'm going to play a clip from the deep dive that I did before. Of course, I need to make sure you guys can hear it. Now, this is the deep dive that I did on this issue from their prior hearing. Let me know if you can hear it. All right. All right. So the basis basically of Kenya Moore's argument, which sounded very valid. I have all those documents. This goes all the way through it. But the basis of Kenya's argument, because people are like, Kenya's got 88,000. I bet she does. But the basis of her argument was that when she got the lease, the landlord gave her what's called a landlord's concession, basically, which means if you are building out and improving the premises, which you have to do to turn it into a salon, it was just walls. Then the landlord was going to give you up to $80,000. He was going to reimburse you for those expenses that you used to build out your salon. Because generally when you're doing that, it's not open. So the contract specifically, and this is the contract on the screen. Hold on one second. I'm going to make it bigger. So the lease has a special landlord's contribution. So Kenya's position is, I don't owe you any rent. You owe me the landlord's concession, which is $80,000. Because if you look at the numbers, y'all, the court yesterday or whatever, ruled that she owes $88,000 to the landlord. However, they did not give her credit for the $80,000 landlord concession. If that had happened, she really would have only owed like $8,000. And more importantly, she would have never even been this far behind, because there would have never been the back rent, because they would have given her back her $80,000. So she paid that out to vendors, etc. Here's the problem. In the hearing, the reason why the judge did not give her credit for that $80,000 is because Kenya did not do what was required of the contract. So you have to show the landlord, you have to give them your receipts, you have to give them certain documents. Most importantly, you have to show the landlord that all of your vendors pulled whatever permits were necessary, that you got a certificate of occupancy, that all of your contractors and subcontractors were paid. If you've ever had, I'm going to refresh this. If you've ever had work done on your house, then you know, Lord have mercy, you probably know how difficult it is to get, okay, I'm going to go out and come back. I sure will. You know how difficult it is to get contractors to sign off or even do the work promptly. I want you to, there you go. Hold on. There we go. We're going to start play this video. So I'm going to roll it back. And you guys didn't miss too much. I didn't break it down. I just paused it. So here we go. So this is the contract.
I don't know if it was a contractor or her lawyers. I don't like talking bad about nobody lawyer because I don't know him. I don't know him.
Oh.
It ain't personal. But
here we go. And there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, I'm making sure
it's entitled to some rent. So either when it opens or 240 months. And so what can the ability, right? But the sockets weren't in any specific place. Like it's $79,000. We're going to round it up. $80,000 for the improvements that she makes to the premises. Because obviously when her lease is up, those improvements stay. And the other reasons landlords do that is, let's say Kenya either gets evicted or Kenya decides, I don't want this. I don't want to rent from this location anymore. And she's going to go elsewhere. Number one, she's going to have to build out the new place more than likely. But number two, that landlord can now lease this place for a premium to any other hair salon because now it's been built out to be a hair salon. It was literally nothing. It was a box. Think of just like if you were to just buy a trailer. It had no plumbing hookups, no electricity. Like it had the electricity ability, right? But the sockets weren't in any specific place. Like it's just bare. So I negotiate tenant allowances for clients all the time. So that's what Kenya is saying.
So I guess that makes sense then that the rent is so low because of what it was at the beginning. I guess I'm looking at what it became saying, wow, $4,700 a month. That's really cheap. But she,
the rent was good.
As we know,
but to get to that, she had to put in $80,000 of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Right,
yeah. Someone say, I don't like Kenya, but this is messed up. Says, okay, I bet it won't be $5,000 a month no more. So that's a problem. So the rent is $5,000. That stays. It doesn't change. And actually, what happens is you don't even have to start paying rent according to their contract. She didn't have to start paying rent until it opened, basically until the salon opened or a number of months had passed. In other words, if it takes you too long to get your salon open, landlord's entitled to some rent. So either when it opens or 240 months.
Because we know from me and other sources that she had trouble with the contractors and getting this off the ground.
That part, little stupid. But y'all, somebody was stupider. I don't know if it was a contractor or her lawyers. I don't like talking bad about nobody lawyer because I don't know him. I don't know him. It ain't personal. But baby, let me tell you where we get the problem. Where we got the problem at. Okay. The problem is this. In order for Kenya to get that $80,000 she wants as reimbursement for the improvements she made to the property, Kenya's team was supposed to provide the landlord basically with some documents that proved that the improvements were made up to code, that all of the contractors that you hired to make the improvements have been paid.
This is a list here of all the things that Kenya was supposed to provide to the landlord and didn't. I'm going to just read it quickly. She needs to give a complete application. She needs to apply to the landlord for the payment. She needs to provide a certificate of final completion that's issued by the tenant's architect. That's the only way to ensure that the work was done up to architectural standards, because if not, then the landlord is going to be in trouble if it's not architecturally sound, if there are foundation issues, or if anything else was created. She also has to provide completion of the tenant's work in a manner reasonably satisfactory to the landlord's architect, okay? And D says lien waivers from each of the tenant's contractors and each subcontractor performing any such work, and each material man providing materials for the work, as well as a true and correct copy of the certificate of occupancy. And all that needed to be done within 18 months of the lease. Here, we're going to speed this up real quick.
and therefore are not going to attach a lien, what's called a mechanic's lien, to the property that would then give the landlord a headache and expose the landlord for being sued because unpaid contractors. Does that make sense, Vanessa?
It makes sense, and it makes me say in my head, because we know from me and other sources that she had trouble with the contractors and getting this off the ground, and even from off the show. So.
Girl, was that on the show? I didn't watch the show.
So basically, ultimately, so here's the catch in the T. It says she needs to show the catch in the T is this. So it actually appears that her contractors got her in this messed up situation because they did not do the work timely. They did not provide her with these documents that she needed to get the money back from her landlord. Now, Alexandria, you said Kenya basically told us her salon landlord wasn't honoring, quote, the agreement. She might win this one too. So I'm going to say no. Oh, that was from the chat replay. No, I don't think, as we saw, she didn't win because it was not a matter of the landlord not honoring, because the landlord gave time frames, said this is a document you got to provide me with. This is the time frame to provide it. She missed the deadline. They reached out to her and said, hey, the deadline was this. We'll extend it for you for 2 more weeks. Like the deadline was around Memorial Weekend. We'll give you 2 more weeks. That deadline came. She still hadn't provided the documentation that was required according to this contract. And she probably didn't provide it because she didn't have it. She didn't have it. But as you can see, that's not her fault. Those are things she has to get from the contractors. And so if you're having disputes with your contractors, one thing they're not going to give you is no lien waiver release. Because with Kenya's personality, she's probably the way I am when I'm renovating, which is I'm not paying you for nothing you didn't do and nothing you didn't do right. So we're going to go toe to toe until you get it right. Then you will get paid. So it says Kenya's lack of emotion and respect for other people is causing her financial and job issues. She needs to show receipts. Well, the problem is at this point now, even if she showed the receipts, she was so far past the deadline to provide it to the landlord that legally the landlord doesn't have to give her that credit. But secondly, according to what was presented and what's on the docket thus far, she doesn't have proof of all of these things. Even the certificate of occupancy. When I did this video, I pulled the certificate of occupancy and I did not see it listed. I did not see it listed online. And even if it was listed, it was going to be outside of the time window, which was the 18 months for her to get the landlord's concession. And when you have a provision like that, where there are conditions, if you don't meet all the conditions, landlord don't have to give you the $80,000. Here's the bigger kicker. She probably need to get up out of there because they ain't making no money over there. But there's some positive news on the horizon. Let me fast forward. Let's go to the front. There is positive news from Miss Moore on the horizon, because Miss Moore finna get, in the end, it looks like she is likely going to get the last laugh here because, and again, in addition, I obviously have the Red Wine Law Firm and I do personal injury cases across the nation. If you want to do a title closing anywhere for real estate anywhere in Texas, we would love to help you. Same number, 855-4Simone. Here's the good news that I don't know why anyone is not reporting this, but maybe it's because, they're not lawyers. So that's okay. Which is that, so that was ordered. The judge ordered that. But these people were idiots. So the judge ordered the $88,000 basically to be paid by More Vision Media by the deadline. But these little idiots, and I'm calling them idiots because I've done a ton of these commercial landlord contracts. And if you're a regular person like me or you, they're not going to do the lease in just your LLC's name or just your company name. They make you be a guarantor, right? They messed up and did not include her as a guarantor on this. So what that means, let me see if I can go back down. They did not include Kenya, which means Kenya is not personally liable. If Kenya doesn't pay that money, they can't take Kenya's car. They can't take Kenya's house. They can't do nothing. That's there. Let's see if we can go to that part of the video. Pop. 55 Hold on, let me show you that part. Baby, one thing I can do is read a contract. Let's see. It is.
That covers guarantors. So usually what will happen is More Vision is her LLC, you see, or corporation, More Vision Media Inc. But usually companies that got sense, that got good lawyers, also require the guarantor to be Kenya Moore herself. Because the question is Moore Manor at risk? Is Moore Manor at risk?
You took the words out my mouth. I wanted to know. Is
Moore Manor at risk?
Not up in this.
No, it's not. Because Kenya outsmarted them. Go, Kenya, go. Go, Kenya, go.
One win.
She outsmarted them. Because the lease is only with Moore Vision Media and not also Kenya Moore, they can only get the assets from Moore Vision Media. They can't take Kenya Moore Manor.
And what's under More Media? Is it just her podcast that she was doing from there that she's only did a handful of episodes? What?
Oh, honey, it can be whatever she wants, and she can put it in and take it out. Put it in and take it out. I need a man. Put it in and take it out. Put it in.
She watching. Her lawyer needs your help.
So, for example, more than likely, like when I did reality TV, I use an LLC to get my checks. So she might use it to have her checks deposited. This like. It can go there. She can take tax deduction for her makeup, her wardrobe, her blah, blah, blah. It could be her LLC. I mean, it could be her podcast. So it could be where she has.
Yeah. So basically you get it. So in the end, Kenya is apparently going to get the last laugh. Y'all. They can't even put this on Kenya's credit. They can't put it on Kenya's credit because their judgment is against the business entity. Please reach out to who? This is a silver lining. It actually is. Y'all share this with Kenya, tag her, maybe send it to her on IG, DM it to her, or what have you. But they cannot put it on Kenya's credit. They cannot attach it to her house or anything she owns as her. The only assets they can attempt to seize would be assets that are owned by More Media. And so what I would do, more than likely, she uses the More Media, like I said, to collect checks or for some of her production, maybe her podcast. She can just change the LLC that collects those YouTube checks, the podcast checks. Because in the end, if they get a judgment, the landlord gets a judgment, then that judgment can only be collected against More Media, cannot be collected against her. They can't even mess up her credit. So in the end, when people are like, Kenya has $88,000, she sure does. And she bet not give it to him. Don't you do it, girl. Don't you give them nothing. You make them call the laws. That's what they get for being stupid. That's what you get for being dumb and not having good lawyers. It says since More Media no longer collects checks, she's good. Exactly. Yeah. Or whatever they were collecting. It might be her podcast. It might be whatever. Thank you so much. Yeah. This is a silver lining absolutely for Kenya. So let me know if y'all saw this, if y'all seen any breakdown similar to this one on any of the other channels. Share it. I'm also going to clip this segment out and just repost it for those who just want to get the Kenya Moore breakdown. But the main thing I wanted to clarify is other blogs were reporting that Kenya was claiming that the landlord owed her the money because the landlord did not make improvements. He didn't fix certain things. That's not true. It's that she made the improvements and he was supposed to reimburse her. But in the end, shouts out to whoever her lawyer was, Kenya's lawyer. You are the MVP and that you were able to get that. That lease is long, y'all. I would think it's like, I don't know, it's like 20 pages and they didn't have sense enough to have a guarantor. All right. So these are the things, y'all, that when people call my office and you get a consultation for confidential matters, these are the kind of things that I help you work through, strategize through, and then we create legal teams in your city, in your county to help you outthink your opponent. So I'm your legal bestie. You can go to SimoneRedwine.com to schedule a consultation with me, particularly if you're seriously injured anywhere in the nation. I'd love to help you. Let me know down below what topics you'd like me to cover. See you again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I am going live Monday through Thursday every day at 11 a.m. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Let me know what you want to hear about in the chat. Bye.
Is that legal? Is that legal?